Warning, the stories you're about to hear are detailed accounts of shenanigans, pranks, and some mistakes that are meant to replicate the sort of discussions that veterans have when they reunite over a cold beverage and do not depict the professional daily actions of the military at large. We hope to make you laugh, but not to disrespect our proud men and women in uniform. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Cammo Comedy, where we take a humorous look at the lighter side of military service. We got a big show for you today, but before we jump into it, if you like what we're doing here, give us a subscribe, give us a follow, whatever they call it on your podcasting platform. And while you're at it, give us a 5-star rating, write us a review, as that makes us more relevant in the algorithm and boosts the overall visibility of the show. But word-of-mouth advertising is just so powerful, so if you tell some friends, I will love you forever. Okay, let's jump into the show. I am your host, Aaron Wolf. Joining me again today is call sign Dome Piece. Dome Piece, thanks for coming back, man. It's always a pleasure to have you in here.
Yeah, man, I had a great time last time. Looking forward to it today.
Oh, my God. We've got call sign Brown Bag that just came into the studio. Hey, man, you want to say hi?
Hey, how's everybody doing? Brown Bag is in the building.
Brown Bag is in the building, man. Happy to have you in here, man. So check this out. One of the things that I've learned is that Army infantry dudes have got some boundary issues, right?
Fact.
So, and they happen to be hilarious. So check this out. Whenever you go on pre-deployment training or any kind of training where you're away from your own home station base, you're going to be staying in hotels, things of that nature. It is customary that after the duty day, people are like, "Hey, man, where are we going to dinner? Are we going to have a couple drinks after that? You know, what are they going to do with their free time to, when they're away from their families and they're with their military family, right?"
Yeah, for sure.
These infantry guys wrap up the duty day, and we're going to call them Bob and Jimmy. So Bob's like, "Hey, man, it takes me 15, 20 minutes to get ready. Come meet me over at my hotel room, and we'll just go out to dinner from there and have a couple drinks, man. It'll be a blast, right?"
Yeah.
So Jimmy realizes that he's got a window, and if he rushes and gets ready, he can go and scare Bob, right? So he just goes, he showers, he gets changed, everything really quick. It takes him about 7-8 minutes, right? And he goes storming over to Bob's hotel room, right? And he sees that Bob has mistakenly left his hotel room ajar. And so right there, Jimmy picks up speed. He's storming, boom, 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 boom. And then boom, he kicks open the door, right? And like takes a hard right, and right there's the bathroom door. He can hear that Bob is in there taking a shower, so he kicks in the bathroom door and immediately whips open the shower curtain, right? Yeah. Surprising Bob.
Yahtzee.
Now, what Jimmy did not realize was Bob was in there masturbating. Right?
Of course he was.
Because from Bob's perspective, he said, I said 15 to 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, he had all the time.
He's 7 or 8 minutes into that, so he's got plenty of time to go. He's only halfway through the lowest point of the initial time hack that they had established.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So, and he should have known better, I would say, because anytime you're going to be getting ready and you could get got, then you should expect something like that to probably happen, right?
Yeah, and not leave your door open.
People got to make their own entertainment when they're on the road, right? So they fuck with their buddies, right? Yeah. So it's important to note that Bob doesn't stop jerking off. He's like, "Hey, man, I'm fully committed here. Like, I'm going to keep going." From Bob's perspective, he's in there, and he hears a little something. He's going to town, right? He's just enjoying himself before his night out with the buddies.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Did I just hear?" And just to kind of he's like, maybe I should face the wall. And right about that time, he kicks in the bathroom door and whips open the shower curtain. Jimmy does, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's important to also note that if you get caught masturbating and you stop, you got caught masturbating.
Yes.
However, if you get caught beating off and you continue, then that person is just a perv watching you beat off.
Yes.
So it's all about taking a stand, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, that's a simple, fun story where, these infantry guys maybe have some boundary issues, but you got to make your own entertainment on the road, right?
Yeah, for sure. Learning boundaries sometimes takes place when you're on the fly and you're getting to meet new people, right?
Sure, yeah.
So the next one's in the 90s, late 90s, right? Okay. It's a joint operation with some U.S. forces and some U.K. forces.
Okay. So you got some British military in there. Nice.
Yeah, some British Brits. Some Brits. Both combat career fields, right? In both doing some work together, right? Well, if you have never been around the Brits love to party.
Yeah.
And they love to fight. Not saying the Americans don't. Americans love to party, and I'm not saying they like to fight, but the Brits really love to fist fight for whatever reason. Like, you can get in a knockdown drag out with a guy you were just having laughs with.
Yeah.
And then as soon as it's done, they're like, let's go get a pint. And then you're drinking again with those guys, right? They
I love it, man.
Yeah, they love to fist fight. And it's nothing personal. They just like to do it, right?
Yeah.
And so it's cool, right? Well,
rough and tumble dudes, man. You get that kind of thing.
yeah, for sure. So this particular group of Americans, they'd been hanging with the Brits, cool, just having fun. They've been partying, working hard, partying hard, getting in fights, drinking pints, whatever,
90s?
Yeah.
Man.
So they're having a good time, right? Well, this one particular guy, he thought that he'd really gotten to be pretty close. He'd gotten to know him. He learned, what he was cool with, what they were cool with. So they're getting ready to pull out. They'd been with these guys for 2 months, right around 2 months, right?
Okay.
And they're getting ready to pull out last couple nights, and they have one club where they're at, kind of a club thing, right? And they have a USO band that comes in. That's nobody famous. It's nothing like that, but it's just a band that's traveling around trying to entertain the troops, right?
Yeah.
And they're singing country music. That's pretty much all they're singing, right?
Okay.
Well, this is a mixed bag, and I don't know how huge country is in the UK.
1990s, right? Probably not that big.
Yeah. So they played their couple sets, and they're getting ready to take a break between sets.
Okay.
So the lead singer's like, "Hey, we're going to be back like 30 minutes, whatever." As soon as he gets off the mic, there's like a few seconds of just quiet before the crowd starts talking amongst themselves, and it gets loud. In that quiet time, this British guy from the back yells, "We want to hear some rockin' roll. Play us some rockin' roll." So clearly he wasn't feeling the country vibe. Well, this guy who'd been hanging with him this whole time, he's half in the bag. They're all drinking together.
Yeah.
He's at a table with all of his American counterparts.
Yeah.
And he stands up with a pint, and it's still quiet in here. Everybody's looking, and he's like, "Yeah, we want to hear some Beatles, maybe a little Rolling Stones," right? Now, he's not British, clearly. They know this. They've been partying together for 2 months. He's like, "Yeah, man, this is hilarious," until he looks over and he sees all the Brits, and they don't find it so funny.
So he was doing this all in good-natured fun, thinking like, hey, we're cool. I can kind of poke fun.
Yeah.
Not so much. And these guys like to fight.
They do like to fight. And his whole table is laughing. All the Americans are laughing. They think it's just as funny as he did.
I see where this is going.
And then next thing you know, now that it starts getting real contentious, this spills into the parking lot in front of this club, right? And there's a whole lot of yelling and pushing and whatever. The local MPs are showing up. They're trying to quell the thing. And all of a sudden, in the end, they all ended up dialing it down.
Yeah.
And what did they do? What they always did. They went and had a pint together.
That's an awesome story, man. Very 90s. Know your audience, I guess.
Yeah.
When you're telling jokes. All right, so dude, check out this next story, man. This one takes place with a unique military cat, let's say, right? And he got the wild idea that carving up roast beef with regular cutlery is just not good enough. He wanted a motherfucking machete, right? No. So he
yes,
finds a nice Gerber machete at a decent price and was like, I'm going to look like a badass cutting up some roast beef with a motherfucking machete.
I mean, I want to hang out with that guy.
Yeah, it sounds like an interesting guy, right?
Yeah.
So he gets home and, he does like the whetstone, shaves it up, makes it nice and sharp.
Yeah.
Then he realizes he doesn't have a roast. So what the fuck are you going to do with a machete now? Like, you just got the machete. I got to do something.
Yeah, you got to use it.
And then he realizes he's got a nice stack of mail. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to open the mail with a fucking machete, right?
It's a bold move.
So he's just like, all right, let's be careful. We got to be cautious. And so he makes sure to pluck each individual bill out and just kind of like, where the two flaps come on one side, he just holds it at one corner, kind of inches in the blade of the machete and then goes shing and opens up the mail, right? He rinse and repeats this a couple times, goes through. He might stab a couple bills that he's pissed at, normal stuff, right?
Yeah.
And he's just like, okay, whatever. And then he realizes he's got a nice package, a nice box that has come. He's like, all right, well, you're on this kick. got to open the box with a fucking machete, right? So he sits down, crisscross applesauce. We're going to be really safe here, right? So we're going to make sure, again, the blade is angled away from.
Yeah.
So he just kind of comes in one side and shing, just takes off right side, left side. And then he's realizing it's a little fiddly. It's kind of hard to get an angle when you're sitting crisscross applesauce with a package in front of you, holding a machete, to not be aiming the blade at your body in either left or right configuration. Because, you know, you're kind of committed at this point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, we're just going to be careful. So he inches in the blade a little bit to the two flaps at the top, and he's kind of just sliding it through and making sure to be very delicate to make sure he can cut right through the tape. And he gets hung up on a piece of fiber. Very carefully, just applying a little bit of pressure, very carefully, very carefully. All of a sudden that fiber gives way, and then shink, the blade whips around 90 degrees and slaps him right in his naked shin, fillets open his shin.
Oh, man.
It looks instantaneously blood everywhere, and just immediately he's like, well, this didn't work out.
Yeah,
right?
no kidding, right? Not how he had it, not how he saw it.
Yeah, now it's time to go to the hospital. You've had enough badassery for one day. So he makes a nice, clean bandage out of paper towels and some duct tape, and he drives himself to the closest emergency room.
I just want to point out, paper towels and duct tape did he learn that in TCCC?
I don't think he did. Yeah. I think he was just improvising. He's like, well, I got this stuff, and it's a short drive over to the next medical clinic, so we're going to go in there. Now, a guy's got a pretty good sense of humor, and he realizes that this is going to be pretty epic to explain to the people, and there's no sense in trying to lie. So he just cruises up to the front at the emergency room, and they see a trail of blood that's come in behind him, and he's got a bloody leg with some duct tape and everything, and they're just like, oh, what the fuck is this guy's deal?
I can only imagine what they were thinking.
So he goes right up, kind of slaps his hand down on the table. He's like, I need some stitches, I think. And they look at his wound, and they're like, you think?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. And so they're doing their cursory, questioning, like, are you hurting yourself? How did this happen? That kind of stuff. And he's just like, nope. I was opening the mail with a machete and I cut myself. So now you see like all of the nurses kind of like raising up and then coming closer, not because they really wanted to do anything, but they wanted to listen in.
Yeah, they want to hear this story.
Like, okay. How did you say you did this? And just like, I was opening the mail with a machete and I caught myself in the shin. It's a normal thing. Like it could have happened to anybody, right?
Yeah. It's so normal that all the ER staff who sees all kinds of things,
all kinds of crazy stuff,
have to stop what they're doing to gather around, right?
They're all gathering around. They're like, okay, are you depressed? Are you like cutting? He's like, have you ever heard of somebody depressed opening their mail with a machete?
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, good point. Anyway, long story short, they take him back. They take him to an exam room where he sits and waits for hours, right? It's not the biggest emergency in the world. He didn't hit anything vital, just ripped open a big wad of skin. And you got a nurse practitioner that comes in. She applies some stitches, right? Yep. Gets them all stitched up and says, hey, wait here. A doctor is going to talk to you about going forward and all that kind of stuff. The nurse practitioner leaves, waits for a while. One of his buddies ends up calling him on the phone. Of course, nobody knew that he was in the emergency room at this point. So buddy calls, they start chatting like, hey man, like I'm at the emergency room. Right about that time, the doctor comes in. So he's like, hey, hold on a second. The doctor's coming in. Let me hit mute. And so he does a double tap on mute. He thinks he just hit mute once, but he ends up hitting it twice. So it was a mute, then unmute. And then he sets it down on the exam table. Of course, the doctor's coming in and say, hey, we got you all stitched up. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're showering, keeping the area clean. You don't want to be in any like hot tubs or baths or any pools of water. You just want to make sure you keep it out of the dirty water. So right about that time, he hears from his phone, his friends say, oh, he likes it in the dirty water. And then the doctor freezes and says,
yes.
What was that? Yeah, my buddy just called me before. I thought I put him on mute. Apparently I didn't. And then the doctor goes, oh, one of those friends. He's like, yeah, it's cool. You can laugh. Like this is a good time we're having here. Right. So
yeah,
that was about that, man.
I'm sure that doctor got a lot of mileage retelling that story at the nurse's station later.
Oh, yeah. That guy had to have been a legend. They were just like, bro, did you get a load of this idiot that's over here cutting open his mail with a freaking machete?
Oh, for sure, man. We're going to move this to basic training because we love some basic training stories.
Oh, yeah. I love basic training stories.
It's basic training. And every now and then you get some high-ranking individuals, right?
Right.
And now to explain, there's officer grades and enlisted grades, right? And in enlisted you have, E1 through E9s, and then you have in the officers you have O1s through O10s, right?
All right.
And this was a full-bird colonel. So there's lieutenant colonels, and then there's a full-bird colonel.
Right.
Where a full-bird colonel, you see them in the movie. They have it looks like the full bird on their collar, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lieutenant colonel has like an oak leaf cluster. It looks like a little oak leaf, right? Well, this is a full-bird colonel, and he decides he wants to come visit some basic trainees. He wants to see what's going on down there. He wants to see how the troops are living, how the morale is, all the things. So in the military, we call this a dog and pony show, right?
All right.
We're going to have to get ready for the dog and pony show. And, I'm sure the drill sergeants are around like, hey, you only tell this colonel, like, if he asks how you're doing, this is the best place. You don't love anything better. You can't imagine being anywhere else in the world than that basic trainee flight right there, right?
Right.
And you don't tell them anything else. These guys are all new to the military, so they're new to the dog and pony show. Well, this colonel shows up. And he's talking. He walks up to this one specific basic trainee and he says, do you know what rank I am? Right? Because in basic training, you're learning to identify the ranks, right?
Yeah, you're going through all of the basics, right, of basic training.
And so this young troop is like, you're a colonel, sir. And he says, they have another name for that. Do you know what that is? And he's like, a spread eagle colonel.
A spread eagle colonel? That's amazing.
And of course, it's called a full bird colonel. Now, this colonel, I'm sure he just wanted to die inside laughing, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like
100%.
He knows he doesn't need to tear into this kid because, the drill sergeant's going to take care of all that when he leaves, and he knows this, right? So he keeps his military bearings like, no, it's called a full bird colonel. And this kid, it's like, he's like, oh, okay, sir. And, he takes the, the new information. He takes it. Yeah. And so this colonel continues to go around, and he's doing the rest of his visit. And the very second he walks out, his drill sergeant, who, by the way, is a 230-pound stacked guy from Jamaica, right?
Oh, shit.
He just comes like beelining
intimidating
for this kid.
Dude, to say the least.
Yeah, right? Like, he just comes beelining for this kid, and he's just like, spread eagle, I'll spread you. And
oh, shit.
Oh, man, like, he's just tearing into this kid, right? I mean, but I'm sure, I don't know where that person is now, but he's got an amazing story where in basic training, he looked at a full bird colonel and said it was a spread eagle colonel.
Oh, yeah. Now that I think about it, I definitely think that a spread eagle colonel needs to be a rank available in my merch store when I get that together.
Yes, you get promoted to spread eagle colonel.
Thanks for checking out the Cammo Comedy Show Podcast. If you like what we're doing here and you want to participate in this community, there are many different ways that you can contribute. First and foremost, tell somebody about the show. Word of mouth advertising is very powerful, and we really appreciate you for helping us out. If you have any funny military stories of your own or know somebody who does, with their permission, of course, you can contribute those stories via email at stories@cammocomedy.com. That's stories, STORIES, at CAMMOCOMEDY.com. Or if you're not too good at the internet, drop us a voicemail at area code 531-222-6146. That's area code 531-222-6146. That's right, we're giving away our phone number. We want funny military stories from all eras. So if you're not from a generation that's heavily online, we don't want there to be a barrier for participation. We have a lot of big plans for this show and building this community to support veterans. We will announce here soon, so stay tuned. All right, I'm going to go have a nice spicy bowl of chili. Later.